Well, hey, everyone. I'm Tuna.
And I'm Dr. Michael Gross. How are you?
We're
Here we go.
we're here today. It's our Sunday message to you from Michael, and we are always thrilled and pleased as punch to have you guys all join us. Okay.
And this is brought to you by, we're doing a commercial and having fun with Healing the Holes in Your Soul, starring T.U. Knapp.
And the spiritual primer created by the amazing Dr. Michael Gross.
Here we are.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put these books down so Michael can get to the message today, because we really appreciate your time. But I just wanted to say one thing. This is the best gosh darn book I've ever read. And I am so very grateful that I met this guy, met Dr. Michael Gross, because he has such words of wisdom in this book. And he also takes the time to bring us his words of wisdom on Sunday nights. So on that note, this book, this man, are the reason that book happened.
And this book is a book about survival, of self-worth, self-love, and self-empowerment, and raising yourself out of the gutter into the light. A must read.
Both of them.
All
they
right.
make great bookends.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. On that note, with all due respect for your time, we want to keep it to about a half an hour.
Yep.
And what we want to do is we want to share a little bit about You Are Your Thoughts. But before we get to giving Michael the floor, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the people the right way. And this is the only part that we script. Everything else is just whatever comes out.
Yes.
All right. So Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. Excuse me, my words. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. I am a firm believer in that because he's helped me through some really tough stuff.
Thank
and
you.
You're welcome. I'm not giving any details. I'm just going to say it that way. He remains humble, knowing that the work he all does. Goodness sakes, Michael, what's wrong with me today? Knowing that. Okay. He remains humble, knowing the work he does all comes from God, the True Source. My goodness. Michael currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and he has just launched his nonprofit. I'm going to go ahead and give him a couple of minutes to share about his nonprofit.
And the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, affectionately called TISE, T-I-I-S-E, the 501c3, and we'll fill you in more and more on it. More exciting things are happening, but it's really dedicated at this point. There's going to be 12 arms, so to speak, and the first one is helping and assisting those beautiful souls, women, children, and men who have been abused physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even far greater. But we'll fill you in. We've been talking about this quite a lot, and we're coming down to the wire with a beautiful announcement when we're ready to go. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. It won't be much longer. It's getting exciting.
Yes.
So definitely keep popping back in on Sunday nights for the update, okay? And everything here, all the contact information that we give you at the end of this will also be in the feed on Facebook, so you'll be able to see it there.
Thank you.
So take it away, Michael. Our topic today is You Are Your Thoughts.
It's so important. And I think we may do a series on this, but I'm not really sure. But when we're talking about Are Your Thoughts, I think we're going to break it down into different, I hate that word, I think, because I really mean what I'm saying. I'm not thinking about it. We're going to break it down into certain phases of your life. And we're going to break it down at least down to the first 12 years and maybe a little bit more, but from 0 to 12. And the reason I'm doing this is for you to realize that you are always creating your life. And whatever your belief system is, you are creating that. Now, when we talk about your belief system is, what is right and what is wrong. What's right for me could be wrong for you and vice versa. Or it could be right for both of us. Who knows? But the important thing is for you to realize that you are creating your life based upon your thoughts, which is based upon what you have learned, which is based upon your belief system, and which is also based upon your experiences. Wow, that's a lot of plus, 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 isn't it? But the truth is, that's it. So here we are as children, and whatever our belief system is, a lot of it is influenced by our families, friends, and relatives. We know that. Whether it's right or wrong, you don't know any better. Although some of us know better, but others of us don't. So the prejudice that our parents have towards families, relatives, even ethnic groups, we kind of adopt as our own. And for the first 11 or 12 years, we feel that way. And then we begin to, well, maybe not all of that's true. But we have to realize that you as a parent, where you have children, is that you had a great influence on them. And of course, they reach an age where they begin to follow their own path, but that's not until much earlier.
Sorry, I'm getting
But just think about, the child says, I want Santa Claus to bring me, well, in my day, it was electric trains. And guess what? I got electric trains. But I expressed it, I believed it, knew it was going to happen. Now I realize we know who Santa Claus was and Mrs. Claus was. But nevertheless, we had an expectation that that would occur. And we dreamed about it and fantasized about it. And it happened. Or maybe it was a bicycle, or maybe it was a scooter, maybe it was a basketball, maybe it was a pair of sneakers. Whatever it was, we fantasized, we thought about it, and it got there, it came to us, whether it was for Christmas or our birthdays or just some kind of celebration. It was wonderful. And what we have to look at the formative years is that not only did we express our desires, we fantasized and believed it was going to occur. So when I say fantasize, that's so important when you're going to be creating your life. So can't you remember, fantasizing? I remember when I had a bicycle, big thing was an English 3-speed bicycle. And I fantasized it, and I got one.
Do you know what I wanted?
What?
It was the 60s. I wanted white go-go boots.
All right, did you get them?
Yes.
All right.
It was Christmas, and one of the very last gifts I opened was from my grandmother, and tucked inside were this beautiful pair of white go-go boots.
Did it have a tassel? Have a gold tassel on it?
No. But up in Canada, maybe they didn't come with tassels. I don't know. I just wanted white go-go boots, and it was the funniest thing because I was such a skinny kid that the boots wouldn't even stay up on my legs. I mean, but the thing was, it happened just like what you said. And I was really getting disappointed because my mom and dad had bought all that other stuff, which parents do, underwear for Christmas,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
socks, underwear, pajamas, yeah. Whoopee.
But my grandmother came out with the white go-go boots. Oh my gosh, I was thrilled.
There you go. So you fantasized it, you believed it was going to happen, and look at that. That's a key to everything that is happening in our lives, whatever you fantasized. Think about that. So between the ages of, let's say, firstborn to 12, whatever you believe would happen, your thoughts, and you fantasize those thoughts, what happens? It's not happen chance that someone bought it for you. You created it. Because your parents could have just as well, or your grandmother or someone else, nah, you're too young, I don't like what it represents, etc., etc. But no, somebody came through and somebody gave you that gift.
I even had the right outfit picked for those boots. I knew I was going to get them. And when I did, I'm like, it was like, I am going to look so good in school.
So stop and think about this. Really, stop and think for the first formidable 12 years old what you fantasized. Now, fantasizing is two sides of the coin, right? One is exciting, positive, great. The other one is challenging, negative, and blocking. And many times, I look at young children and they say, oh, I'm not good at math. And they see themselves being poor at math, or maybe it's English, or whatever it was. They fantasized that. And it came to reality. They flunked, they didn't do well, or whatever. And we have to begin to realize in those formidable years that set the stage for the rest of our life. It set the stage that we're going to create that way, or we're going to change how we feel about things. So very important for us to do that. Now, I'll tell you, I've been around a long time. As a very good friend of mine, Patrick Snow, is a great book author. Little plug there for Patrick. He said, how did it feel to vote for Abraham Lincoln? I did a really great, a little hard for George Washington, but I said it was great. But in all reality, everyone, when we think about that, we think of what went on and what we believed in or fantasized in. When we hear young children, or I hear young children say, oh, I can't do math, or I can't do that, or whatever. The minute we say that, we're now creating in our life. Or, when you go through puberty and you break out in pimples and you have one maybe on your cheek, one or two, and you think it's the size of Mount Kilimanjaro. Always when you want to go on a date, you want to look good. You always got a zit. It's like, what am I manifesting? But you remember some of those days, and the days that I was going to school, computers weren't around, and so they had flashcards, adding up, subtraction. Some of you may remember that, division, multiplication,
I remember
even
that.
in spelling. And I got so fast at numbers, it was incredible. Now, I'm not going to say I'm faster than the computer, but I'm just saying I'm very fast at adding and subtracting, multiplying numbers up to 3, 5, or 6 or 7 digits. But square roots and things like that, that's a little bit more arduous. But getting back to all those things, you see, when we're going to school, we wanted to excel. We want to make our parents proud. And so that was part of what we manifest in those formidable years. I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to do well in this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, when we came home, if we didn't do well in the math test or English or whatever it was, we hung our hats down and we were really sad, and we were kind of ashamed. And there was always, Mom, you can do better. I'm going to help you do better. And she would help us feel different about ourselves and become more confident. And then after a while, as we began to postulate the feelings and energies of being successful and positive, what did we do? We emulated that and we created that in our life. So the difference between success and not success, remember, because my definition of failure is you learn what worked and didn't work. So success and not success is, one, you are learning something new. Number two is how you feel about yourself to achieve it. Number three, who's in charge of your life? Is it your fear? Because you're going to be creating that by your thoughts, or is it by your thoughts of success? So think about all those things in your formative years. I'd like everyone to spend a moment to think about what occurred in the first 12 years of your life and how it molded you temporarily or maybe permanently about what's happening now. It's so important because, as children, we emulate our parents or those we love. And while I'm talking about this, I want Tio to share a story. And Tio doesn't know I'm going to ask her for this, but this is a story of somebody she knows who has one arm, and the story of their baby that you were relating to me. So share that.
I have a friend who was born with only the bottom, the bottom half of her arm is missing, and she has a little 1-year-old son now. And she shared something recently on social media where he was playing in the sandbox, and he was using his right arm to dig the dirt in the sandbox, and the left arm wasn't being used. And that's because what I'm understanding is that he he's emulating his mother because she's missing that part of her arm. So she's not using a hand because she doesn't have the hand. Yet the little boy, his left arm was fine, but he wasn't using it. Now, normally when you see a child playing in a sandbox, they're in there with both hands, right? Digging and driving trucks or whatever through there. But it was interesting to watch because because of all the COVID, he was born during COVID, and because of all the the pandemic, she kept him protected at home. So he has been around other children, but the dominant thing is that he spends so much time with mom. So we watch and we learn by what our parents do. We don't even know it. We're little.
Exactly. And that's an important point because not only audible, we hear things, we're kinesthetic. We visualize and see things.
Well, yeah.
And we, collective consciousness, don't realize how we are subliminally influenced in our life by our behavior, like that 1-year-old child. I'm sure the mother's going to work with the child to use both hands or whatever she does. But that proves my point because whatever you're thinking, because he's thinking, oh, mom uses just one hand, that's all I do. And maybe he doesn't realize why mom can't use the other hand, or maybe he does. We don't know that. But the important thing is that throughout our lives, our thinking is what we learn in our formidable years, and how it comes across is words, thoughts, deeds, visually, and actions. All that comes across. And it's so subliminal that we grasp on to it and we behave that way. Amazing, isn't it? These little influences that go on in our life form our building blocks of how we're going to behave in years to come, or what challenges we have in the years to come, or how we're going to change some of those challenges. So be free to create whatever we so desire.
Can I add something?
Sure.
It just when Michael just said that, uh, imagine if a child's being raised in a house that's filled with domestic violence. Okay, what is that child learning? The sound, the tone of voice that's going on, the things that are going on, the attitude. They don't realize that they're picking up something from mom and dad. They don't. I remember. I'm just gonna go with this for a second. I hope it's okay.
Sure.
But I remember thinking when it was in my life that I didn't know any different. I thought the whole world lived like I did. I didn't know any better, and I didn't know what normal was until I saw a normal family, and I thought they were crazy. They actually liked one another, and they were hugging one another at a holiday. And I thought, this is different than what I'm used to, and it's not like my family. My family hugged and stuff too, but when you start looking beyond your normal life, okay, if you've got any kind of stuff going on in your life, we are the result of what we grew up with. And if they teach us one way and we see that one way, we're going to mirror what our parents have done, whether good or bad. We're going to mirror that. And I just wanted to share that because it made me think, if these are young children, and like in my book, I was hiding my kids in the closet. What did they hear and see when they were in the closet?
Good point. Good point.
Fortunately, I did damage control. They're okay now.
But the point is, we have to realize our influences in life. And there is the reason I pick ages 0, technically speaking, to age 12 is because those things that we observe, see, sense, or feel have a profound influence in what we're creating in our life. And remember, my mother always told me, Michael, you can do anything. Michael, you can do anything. Well, it was so subconscious that just 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I said, oh, I remember what my mother said. And therefore, the challenges in life is, I can do this. I can do it. I didn't know anything. But I said, I could do this. I could do this. And I learned. And that's the point. The point is, in those formidable years, I keep repeating that That's going to give you in your direction in your life to enhance, to change, or modify. So change is a 180-degree turnaround. Modify is to change part of it, maybe 50%, 90%, whatever it is, but also leads you to realize what works and doesn't work. And that's so important. There used to be an advertisement on the TV and joining the military. And could have been the Marine Corps or the Army. Be all you can be.
That's the Army.
Was it the Army?
I think it's the Army.
Be all you can be. And I, when I was grading classes when I was teaching college, and a student would be like a D plus. He said, be all you can be. You're now on the uphill to get an A, or something like that. And they go, well, Professor Gross, I did horrible. I should have got an F. I said, well, I grade you. You got a D plus, and you're on your way up. And by the time that the finals were there, they either got a B minus or even a C plus. Some even got an A. But C, B minus, C plus, it's cool. To me, there's no difference between a C plus and a B minus. They're about the same thing. But nevertheless, they were inspired because whatever blocks they had that learned in the formidable years, here they're 18 and older, we're turning around and re-educating that soul in a new belief system. Therefore, I want you to look at these first 12 years and see all the wonderful points. Actually, they're all wonderful, technically, even if they're challenging and they create chaos because now you're learning, well, this didn't work. So how would I do? I change it. It's called reverse engineering. However you create it, you uncreate it. So if you create it by your belief system and not doing well, you change your belief system and practice doing well. I know, Michael, it's easier said than done. You're right, it is. Because your belief system is so entrenched within you, it's so hard to change, but you're making it a big deal. On the other hand, you want it to be the rest of your life, because I've had some clients that for the rest of their life, they just didn't let go. And they kept creating more chaos. See, I told you, Mo. See, I told you it wouldn't work out. See, I told you it wouldn't work out. Well, you're creating it. You're manifesting it. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. But they are by their thoughts. Think of what you created by your thoughts. I remember when I went for my driver's license. Oh, boy, that was a big deal, 16. And I just pictured myself passing. And I did. And then when I got my motorcycle license, I had to go up this big hill. And I pictured myself, passing. And what happened is I stalled out, but I never stopped. I restarted the engine right away. And when the inspector said, well, you stalled out, but you started right away, you didn't go backwards, I'm passing you. You know how to handle it. See? I just manifested and passed.
Good job.
So even to this day, I have my motorcycle license, although I don't have a motorcycle now. But I had some huge, big mothers, huge, and some smaller ones. And I probably will get into a motorcycle a little later. But right now, it's too many crazy drivers. But nevertheless, we are always responsible for what occurs in our life. And that's what's so important. We're pre-programmed to create certain things in our life. But here's some of the pre-programming things I want you all to think about. And that is, there are certain innate things that we know. Thou shalt not kill, right? 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witness, right? Saying a lie. Thou shalt not commit adultery, so on and so forth. All those things are there. So there's a moral code. And we can apply that moral code, or we can modify it. And if we modify it, we can convince our things of everything. We can convince ourselves. I hear people say, nope, I never did anything wrong. Well, yeah, you did. You weren't paying attention. You were on your cell phone and you had an accident. Nope, not my fault. They should have been aware. And they'll just look at you. First you think they're lying, but really they're lying to themselves, but they believe it. They just believe it. And I know a very good friend of mine, his wife has had 3 accidents because she's either on a cell phone or she's just spacing out or thinking about other things. You would think over the last 3 or 4 years that she would get it right, but Such as it is, when she finally owns up and realizes it, it will stop. She's not a victim. And how are we doing on time?
We've got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. So thank you. This is part 1, and there'll be part 2 and part 3, and who knows, whatever. I never know. But I want to share all this with you. And then I want to share with you that, for those of you who are watching this is Father's Day. So I wish you all a happy Father's Day. And just remember our fathers. Some were cool, some weren't, but you wouldn't be here without your father. So just remember that your father is more than a sperm donor. Your father taught you lessons about life. Some were painful, some were joyous, some were hurtful. But you know something? They taught you about life. And remembering that, it made you stronger, even if you felt abandoned, or maybe your parents were divorced. You learned how to work and cope with life. Those are the gifts. And I'll enumerate more, but everyone, I want to thank you. We're down to about 4 minutes. So let's talk about some of the wonderful things we do besides this Sunday evening at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
I'm glad you reminded me that it is Father's Day. Well, I should have said something at the very beginning. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where I was.
That's okay.
But here's the thing too, and then I'll go into what we do, what Michael does the rest of the week. But your father and your mother, their DNA is in you too, and whether you like it or not, you have to stop and think about their strengths as well as maybe their challenges, and understand that you are here for a reason. Everyone has a reason, and we are all here because we're a product of love. One way or another, something happened, and unconditional love is the one thing we have to remember. No matter where we are today, my father's gone, he passed away. But I divorced. My children didn't have their dad the whole time. But it is what it is, and we need to be grateful for it. We have dads that are taking on children, and they're not the biological father, but they are the father role model. So honor that as well. So I want to just go ahead and congratulate all dads and all moms that are stepping into the role of dads if they're raising their children alone.
Congratulations.
So, absolutely. Kudos to everyone. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, Michael, because I have a tickle in my throat really quick.
All right. So everyone, every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, we have what I call the Words of Wisdom. We used to call it the calling. And the Words of Wisdom is that you call in and you ask any question you so desire on spirituality. And then hopefully I can answer them. And then afterwards, I deliver a 10-minute message. So I haven't committed the telephone number to memory, but you dial in on 202-926-1059. That's 202-926-1059. And the access code is 125
446 pound.
pound.
Sorry
That's
about that.
125
446
pound. And then what I call the replay, which you can listen to other messages. This is the dial number, and that is
434-300-4170, and the access code
is 125-446 pound.
And
give it one more time.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having one of those weird days, I tell you what. Okay. The recordings start at 3 and they go all the way up to, 250, something like that.
Yeah. And
the number there is 434-300-4170, and the access code
125-446 pound.
Oh no, I have a tickle in my throat, and now we have a shaky computer.
Absolutely.
Oh no, that was an earthquake. Oh no.
Yes.
Okay.
And
what do you do the second Saturday?
The second Saturday of every month? What we do is a mass consciousness healing. It's the most amazing thing you're going to feel. And you goes, we do it with what I call the true sources of God, the true sources of unconditional love. And everyone that has experienced it said, wow, it's incredible. Because remember, you were created out of love, by love, with love, and from love. And the telephone number for that is?
That's 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
And one more time, that's also the same number as the Tuesday night call-in, which is 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
We have fun doing this. We really, really, really enjoy coming to you with our Michael's, what are we calling this? We need a Sunday night message title. Maybe you guys could all put something in the comments and tell us what we should call
That'd
this.
be great. Help us name it.
Yeah, the T.Y. Michael Show or something, you know. So on that note, I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. If your papa's still around, give him a big phone call, big hug, whatever you can do. And if your papa's like where my papa is, then maybe light a candle in the window for him. You know, because they see that. Their souls know.
Yeah.
Their souls know. Okay. So on that note, Michael.
So I want to thank you very much. Want to remind you, these are the books you need to read, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's very inspirational. It's going to change your life.
That was my book he's talking about. I'm thinking it's this. The spiritual primer. I tell you, there are the golden nuggets in here. Start here and then move over to here because it's going to blow your socks off. It really, truly is. This is a phenomenal book. And I talk about him in that one too. So on that note, are we ready, Michael?
Yes. Happy Father's Day. Everybody have a great, great week. Yes. Remember, tune in next week. And remember our motto. You are unlimited.
And we are also on YouTube, so come find us.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.